interpretations and fallacious arguments ain't freaking working.
Well, it's high time that they all realized. I mean, this is a time of enlightenment. It is a time that so many truths are coming out. And to stand in the way of these truths, I mean, you're putting yourself, I look at it as putting yourself in harm's way.
Yeah.
You know, when the public realizes that you've caused all of this, or you're part of what's causing all this damage, I don't think they're going to be too pleased with you.
Well, I don't like that approach, actually, Rick. Let me explain. South Africa, when they were trying to get rid of apartheid, for example, the black population were doing things like blowing up power pylons or acts of actual literal terrorism. And what the white government was really afraid of, and the reason why they were perfectly happy to shoot black people who were running away in Soweto, shoot them in the back and what have you, is because they were afraid, deathly afraid, that if they admitted what they had done to people was wrong and gave them the power to determine their own future that they deserved, that they would have vengeance visited upon them by the black population. Then Nelson Mandela comes out after spending his time in Robben Island, explains to the white leaders, look, we're not going to have any reprisals. We're not going to rape your women or burn your homes or anything like that. We're going to let you have all the same rights that you should have given us the whole time. And we're going to respect those rights precisely the same way that you haven't been doing to us, to show that we're the better person. And more to the point, if we did keep telling you that we're going to give reprisals, you'd never let us have our power, would you?
Quite true. Quite true.
Same thing happened in Ireland. I feel the elite, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, everything like that, I say we offer them amnesty. Hand over the reins of power quietly, peacefully, honestly, and you can live in your big fancy mansions for the rest of your life in peace and stop killing people.
Well, that's more or less what I've said right along, and actually in my books and things. You know, like basically, I'm not saying that we should take these people and kill them or anything.
Oh, no, I'm just afraid of reprisals and that kind of thing for uneducated people who don't know what the human condition really is capable of.
Right. But, but we could cushion what's coming. Instead of having financial collapses, if we would just take these families, these mega-rich families, take them into a common law court, and make them admit their guilt, then, it's not about, to me, like, don't put them in jail. Like you said, let them go home, let them live out their lives, but take the money and resources, these vast amounts of money from them, and put them in the hands of people we can trust. Like a world council that, would distribute the money all over the planet and help people in every country and convert all of these industries we have today that are harming our planet. We could convert these industries over into hemp-based industries, and nobody has to lose their job. Life could just go on, except all of a sudden we would have a hemp-based economy, and it would make perfect sense.
Yeah, I think so. I wondered what would happen. Let's say you confiscated all money the elite have stolen off the world, i.e. all money in the world, and then distributed it equally. All right. Let's say everybody gets given $1 million. Every African, every Indian, every Chinaman, every New Zealander, every Canadian, every person from the UK, the USA, and anybody from Mexico that calls each other SA. You know what I'm saying? If we're capable of doing that, you could imagine suddenly everybody's on the rich list. I don't think it would work, though, because what would happen is, and this happens very often when people win the lottery and they don't have any financial management skills, they're back in poverty within a few years.
Sometimes within a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah, handling money is not something that everyone can do.
Yeah. Especially God. Especially God, It's all powerful, all knowing, created the earth and the universe, but just can't handle money.
Right.
And he always needs more.
Well, this is the reason I say we should have we should be represented by people that we can put our trust in. Everything done with open book policy to the public, nothing hidden, and then we know what they're doing with this money and these resources. And and like I said, if they would go about this in the proper way, we could save this planet, and we could give the human race a future, a good future.
Yeah, and not a not a future where everything's rigidly controlled and what have you, but a future where these nasty corporations that more or less just pollute and destroy everything.
Yes.
Monsanto, US Standard Oil, Johnson and Johnson, GlaxoSmithKline, the World Bank, IMF, so on, Chase Manhattan, so on and so forth. There's no actual practical benefit in having these institutions even exist anymore. No practical benefit, because although they do currently provide services that people need and use, they're not providing them in an honest way that allows for real competition. What they're doing is they're actually using their power and control and monopolistic ability to wipe out competition and to destroy the quality of even their own service in the process. So if you eliminate that process itself, allow competitive spirits and the ability of people to enter the marketplace using their own ideas. Basically, the United States really thrived on this very libertarian idea. No frickin' income tax. If you need a school built in your area, a whole bunch of people have. Oh my God, they've got spare money because they don't have income tax, and they're actually able to donate and build the frickin' school to educate their own children and take personal responsibility for the community around them. What a frickin' novel idea!
Well, it's so many. When I talk to people, I love to go in to these universities and things, and and reach to the young people because they are the future. And when you wake them up, well, the effect, it seems like here in Croatia, like last year when I spoke at the university in Zagreb, man, I'm telling you, it woke a lot of people up. And they go home and they tell their parents about all this, and then more people are investigating it. And I mean, that's the way the world changes. But we have to realize that, if we just look at our history, like I said, we've never done a damn thing right. We've always been misrepresented. So, why can't we come up with something better? My God, I mean, if a man like me with a grade 8 education can see a better future, surely these young college students could see something maybe even better.
Yeah. Which is why the United Nations is now infecting the entire global public schooling system to propagandize them. Because once you control the education level of an entire generation, you will control the command structure of the next generation.
Right. And, and like we've said before, history is written by the victors, and it's always the big money that's always behind. They give us their take on history, and we accept it. I think that all school curriculums, at least half of what they're teaching children in schools, should be actually thrown in a garbage can.
They're more appropriately termed in curriculums.
Curriculums, yes.
Because there's nothing correct about them.
Quite so, brother. I was doing very well. Two teachers from Montreal contacted me, and one of them had cancer, and they were very interested in this. And they'd been teachers all their lives, and we had quite a laugh because we were sitting there, and I told them, I said, now this is kind of strange. I said, now here you are, two school teachers.